Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Everybody say welcome back, Al-Haytham. Did you miss him? Because I sure didn't. Where was he, you asked? Hey, where were you?
I miss my wife tales.
He told me to mind my business. Hey, happy Pride Month. I am very happy that for this month only, gay people exist. That means at long last, we can finally talk about the cast of Honkai Star Rail. Thank you, Hoyoverse, for inventing gay people. That's a joke. That's a joke, relax. Hey, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to it. My name is E, as in like Emmy award-winning gay person. I guess. And today we are diving into some more of Honkai Star Rail's queer coding Pride Month Celebration Edition. So we have a lot to talk about, okay? All videos this month will be queer, as if all of them aren't already. But real quick, I wanted to say to everyone who thinks that I am straight phobic, whatever that means, and or that I'm pushing agendas with this video, then all I have to say really is, watch out! Oh my god! There's a gay person behind you! Girl, why did you look? I'm joking. I'm begging you to please get a hobby. Go outside, smell the grass. Grass smells good, arguably. Loosen your corset, have a drink, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. The world isn't going to stop spinning if some people on the internet interpret pixels as being queer. But to everyone else who enjoys this type of content, a disclaimer first. If you do not see someone or a pairing that you believe to be queer-coded in this video, then hop on over to the other video I released a little bit ago. They are most likely going to be present in that one. But watch it after this one, okay? Plus, for some of Genshin Impact's queer coding, go to this playlist here to get your fix. I highly recommend watching those videos after this one. A lot of frequently asked questions are in there, such as, what is the history of queer coding? Why is it important? Why are there so many gay people in Hoyoverse's past, okay? So definitely check them out. And also, hey, make sure to like and go on down there and subscribe because it's Pride Month. Don't be homophobic. /J, relax. Also, join us over on twitch.tv/eissocial. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, we all clocked her, right? Hoyoverse really said, okay, for this NPC, you need to make her look like she opens beer bottles with her belt. And the designer said, say less. So Siobhan just looks like a sapphic, right? It's just the vibe, okay? That's it. There's no more analysis on this. I am a sapphic, so my word is law. Moving on to the next one. I'm joking, okay? You guys would literally hang me, okay? Anyways, if you aren't aware, during a part of Pennyconnie's Trailblaze mission called Why Do the Heathen Rage, which is claims of a title, by the way, we head on over to Dreamjolt Hostelry to have a little chat with Mr. Gallagher. Hey! I'm free next Thursday, by the way. Hi. Call me such a crush on Gallagher, it's crazy. Okay. There we meet a friend of Gallagher's and owner of the bar. This is Siobhan. Immediately, you can tell that Siobhan is sick as okay? Usually, NPCs get the usual variation of designs in both Genshin and HSR, though I feel like HSR is much more diverse. Still, in a sea of repeating faces in similar outfits, Siobhan stands out with how unique looking she is. She dresses more masculine than usual female NPCs, and her personality is worn on her sleeve. Cool shades hang off her vest, a messily tied tie hangs out of the bottom of the vest, and a choker necklace duo adorns her neck. Probably the best NPC design in the game. She is so cool. So cool, in fact, that March points it out. March says, look, a lady as cool as Serval. Okay, so they have met a lot of cool ladies, but I guess the comparison between Siobhan and Serval is made because Serval also has that free, rebellious air about her, which is similar to Siobhan's vibe, I suppose. But also, please note, reader, that Serval is going to be mentioned again in this video. So maybe March's gaydar's going off. But what's so funny is Siobhan's response to this.
Who's Serval? Will you introduce me to her? Huh?
The English voice actor, who was also Xiao's VA in Genshin, made that line so sus. Like, why did she go, "Will you introduce me to her?" Huh? Girl, this lady was down with a woman she'd like never met and made it clear to everyone in the 5-mile radius around them that she swings that way. But of course there's more. So a little bit of a backstory. Siobhan comes from the Iris family and was supposed to be like a big shot, huge performer like her family, but she didn't want a life as chaotic as that, so she rebelled and opened up this bar lounge and is currently vibing and loving her life, while also bringing some monsters together into a cute little family troupe. This was an event plotline. A woman named Amiki comes to the bar in the Trailblaze mission and refuses to leave until Siobhan gives up this bartending dream and joins Amiki back on the stage for glory and for fame. We emotionally manipulate and psychologically torture the poor woman by using the emotion clockwork tool, and we really f with her. The clockwork tool is so messed up, honestly, but it's so funny. We make her get sad, angry, and happy within seconds, with each extreme in emotion surrounding how much she cares for Siobhan, how much she dreams, literally dreams, about a life of glory with her, and how she would be willing to expose the crimes of the Irish family to make Siobhan more comfortable returning. When we around with her brain enough, she realizes just how messed up she is. And ultimately she says, maybe I should find a place to reflect on what Siobhan truly means to me. If Siobhan was a guy and Amiki said all of this, we would all be like, oh wow, Amiki is in love. So open your eyes. Come on, guys. Amiki might project that her feelings for Siobhan revolve around trying to help her achieve her destiny, but after going through the emotional ringer that we put her through, she realizes that Siobhan means more to her in a different way. This is a common feeling with queer people. They find themselves feeling so strongly for a particular person and they just write it off with some other platonic excuse until years later they look back on their actions and emotions for that person and they go, oh, I was gay. Not speaking from personal experience, of course. Additionally, through the other event plotline, I found out through LGBT anime on TikTok, slay, that in the vignettes in a cup event, vignettes? I don't speak Italian, okay? The TV monster thing named Lady, who's a girl, by the way, mentions how she has asked Siobhan out on a date a few times and got rejected after we ask her if she is dating Siobhan. Just a TV who's queer. I mean, period. She's on that queer channel. So positioning the gay ass TV around Siobhan further insinuates that, hey, Siobhan might be rolling with the LGBT. LGBT? More like LGTV. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. I'll be here all night. For real. I live here. Okay. Thank you. Plus, Siobhan's story of finding her own path and rejecting the expectations of her family is a huge queer trope where, of course, queer people often find backlash from their family when realizing who they truly are. So that journey and story can be coded to be anything. In this case, it was Siobhan's rejection of the performer's life. So with all that being said, what do you think about Siobhan, all right? Let me know below, but I personally find her guilty of homosexuality. Moving on. Yukong's story with her old friend Sai is so tragic and sad. Like, it just sucks, okay? Heart-wrenching Yuri, what did I expect from a Hoyoverse title, okay? So, a little bit of backstory. Yukong used to be a Starskiff pilot and was an ace, as Jingyuan called her. Truly born for the skies. Her and her bestie, Sai, were both absolute chads on the battlefield, with Sai being an ace gunner that paired the best with Yukong's piloting. Jingyuan said that Yukong used to be a flaming wind, with the only person that could calm her down being Sai, adding on that it was hard to imagine such contrasting personalities working together and that the legend of the ace fighter pilot is incomplete without mentioning her ace gunner. Sai, though, soon fell in love with a man named Guangyin, who was also a pilot. Soon, Sai would fly with Guangyin more than with her perfect partner Yukong. Guangyin later died in a battle, having quite the heroic death, leaving Sai widowed and strangely calm, and Yukong devastated. The two would become flying partners again after Sai's husband's death, until one day, even Sai perished in a battle. Yukong soon left flying behind her, and nowadays she's working what is basically a desk job. In Yukong's companion quest, we read her diary with her daughter, Qingni, who is looking for answers into her mother's past and to find the reason why Yukong has forbidden Qingni from becoming a pilot like her. We realize this diary was meant for exchanging letters between Sai and Yukong and holds correspondence between the two from when they first got assigned together, dealing with Guangyin's death, with the last letter being Yukong's to Sai after Sai died. We also find Sai's half of the diary with her responses back to Yukong. From these letters, we gather that when they were younger, they would race each other illegally in the city, and then when they got recruited, were very excited to be each other's partners. Sai told Yukong to not be so hot-headed, even if Yukong would call her a nag. When Guangyin died, Sai pointed out how at peace she was with his death, while Yukong was crying harder than she was. Yukong recalls how rude she was to Guangyin, regretting how she treated him, but then admits that she was always uncomfortable when left around with him. She said, quote, "Especially when I see you two flirting and getting along as if you're inseparable, I can't help but want to glare at him with disdain." Which is crazy, full on admitting that she was jealous when the two would flirt and get along as if they're inseparable. That's wild! Right? The entries continue with Sai explaining how she had a child, renaming the child Qingni, which is the name that Yukong suggested from researching a ton of poems to help name Sai's daughter. Sai explains how she ended up picking this name over the names her late husband suggested. The last letter seems to act as a sort of will. Sai admits that the next battle she will take part in could very well be her last. And if that is to be, she then leaves everything to Yukong and asks her to raise her child as if it were Yukong's own. She made Yukong vow to never let that child touch the skies. She was forbidden to be a jet fighter. And now, in the present day, Yukong raises Qingni as her own. Yanming, a guy who works for Yukong, some dude, explained to Qingni and us that Sai's death was a big blow to Madame Yukong. After the battle, she refused to turn in Sai's possessions as per regulations. She kept them locked away, occasionally taking them out to admire. And then, in the Foxian tale of the Haunted event, Yukong explains what the Foxum Tomb is, a place for Foxians to commemorate the deceased, and how the Phantom Starskiff meets those who are brokenhearted while they visit the Foxum Tomb. The Phantom Starskiff takes the form of the person who has passed away, that the visitor is mourning. With Yukong being there, the Phantom takes the form of Sai, who Yukong admits she visits often. She recounts to Sai how close they were, bounded at the very soul, but that Yukong must move on. The Trailblazer notices how personal the moment is and what are the options to give Yukong some space. Yukong recounts how in the past, when she would see this Sai illusion, she was reduced to a weak Foxian girl again. Yukong says, "Your daughter, no, our daughter, Qingni, is doing very well now." At the end, Sai's illusion asks if Yukong will fly again. Yukong does not respond, simply giving Sai a look filled with intense emotion. Sai understands it, and they say goodbye. Okay, not only is this whole tale sad as but it's also a beautiful story, okay? To add to the tragedy, in the light cone past and future, Yukong is pictured holding a damaged kite and crying furiously amongst flames. The description tells us that Yukong is in the middle of a war as she mourns someone's death. It says, quote, "The wings of the paper kite in her hands were broken, brutally reminding her of her beloved's tragic passing." We can correctly assume that this is Sai because now we know how close their bond was, and also we know the fact that Sai tragically died in war. So, okay, there are several lenses to view this relationship in, okay? You could go the, "Oh wow, they sure were close friends" route, which is crazy, knowing Hoya versus past, okay? Again, much part one. Or you could interpret interpret this relationship as a romantic one. It is without a doubt that Sai and Yukong shared something very special together. My interpretation of this relationship was that it was sort of one-sided. We know Yukong to have been quite fiery and passionate, feeling very strongly about things, which Sai points out, asking how she can still feel so much even after all of their years in war. This implies that Sai has somehow shut down emotionally, almost as if she has been muted. I interpret the relationship as Yukong being in love with Sai, something she was aware of with how she resented how close Sai and her husband were. I don't think Sai reciprocated at all or until after her husband's death. But I also don't think they ever got together, if that makes sense. It's pretty clear that Yukong was in love with Sai, never flying again after her death, Sai being referenced as her beloved in the light cone, keeping Sai's things after her death and taking them out sometimes to admire them, and literally everything else we witnessed in Yukong's story. With Sai having been muted emotionally, let's just say, by the war, I think maybe she ended up reciprocating Yukong's feelings, but they stayed content as just intimately close friends. It seems like a pretty complex relationship if Sai felt anything at all, but it is a sort of tragically beautiful one. I think everything that I explained showcases the relationship to be a deeply intimate one. Positioning both Yukong and Sai as Xingyi's mothers is a very queer-coded thing to do. It positions them as partners and parental figures for a shared child. We see this dynamic repeated a lot with some of Hoyoverse's characters, and this one is very on the nose, with Yukong referencing Xingyi as their daughter. The queer coding lies within framing the two in this way, plus with their rich history, leaves the door open to quite the beautiful, romantic, and tragic interpretation. But what do you think, okay? Do you personally think that they are being posed to be each other's other half? Do you view it as romantic or platonic or a secret third thing? Before this video, I didn't realize just how deep and gorgeous their relationship was, and Yukong's past has definitely become one of my favorite backstories in this game. Oh, waiter! More doomed tragic Yuri, please. We have another one that is absolutely tragic, okay? And it is delectable. Serval and Cocolia share a similar theme together like Yukong and Sai did. They were inseparable and bound at the soul together. Serval and Cocolia grew up together and were roommates during their academic studies, with Serval noting that they shared just about everything with each other. They just didn't distinguish between items that were either Serval's or Cocolia's. This fact of shared possessions is something that displays them in an almost domestic way, I'd argue. I mean, absolutely, this can be read as being very platonic and really close, but again, with Hoyo's past of canonizing queer relationships and also being restricted to only refer to queer couples as best friends, it starts to show these two and their domestic vibe as something maybe more than friends. Serval once wanted a specific type of guitar that she wanted to both make and play one day. She couldn't afford the materials, but Cocolia brought it to life as a gift to Serval. It was something Serval cherished, but did not have for very long. Serval once mentioned how she thought that they were going to be at each other's side indefinitely. And then Cocolia became the supreme guardian of Belobog, and the Stellaron started to whisper in her ear false promises and poison. Cocolia thought she was saving Belobog by following its orders, but she was being led astray by it, twisting her and her spirit into something ugly and unrecognizable to Serval. Serval was her researcher and the architects at the time, and found out where the Stellaron was and how it was connected to the curse of the Fris over Belobog. The two women then fought each other over it. Cocolia rejected Serval's proposal to go and investigate the Stellaron. Serval became distraught over how Cocolia could just refuse such a proposal. Cocolia soon got rid of Serval, expelling her from her position and framing her as some criminal who was committing acts of illegal research. Cocolia stated how Serval used to be her most cherished friend and left Serval out in the cold. Literally. and Serval with no closure as to what happened to her best friend. The guitar that Cocolia had gifted Serval was still in Cocolia's office, since they used to share everything. After everything, Cocolia just never returned it. Serval was in the dark and was often found sighing over Cocolia in the wake of their, not breakup, okay? She was devastated after their relationship ended, and yeah, if you guys were that close, I get it, okay? Branya returned the guitar to Serval after Cocolia died. We killed her brutally, but she served cunt while she got, so it was all worth it, honestly. And we watched as Serval grows incredibly emotional upon seeing the guitar again. We also see her yelling this at an echo of Cocolia. All that time we spent together, was any of it real? It was so easy for you to just leave this world behind. Don't you at least owe me an explanation? In Serval's companion quest, she travels to where Cocolia died and is also her gravesite. And in a final act of mourning and letting go, she smashes the guitar that Cocolia gifted her so long ago, exclaiming that she will no longer live in her shadow. It is without question that Serval, like Yukong, felt very strongly for Cocolia, okay? Their falling out was something that affected Serval for years, and she never got to see the Cocolia that she was best friends with ever again. She never got to witness Cocolia giving her her guitar back. She didn't even get to say goodbye. Their relationship, in any way you interpret it, was gorgeous and, again, tragic. Personally, I am not 100% sure if this relationship was supposed to be coded in a way to be romantic. I honestly personally really like the interpretation that they were just platonic soulmates at some point, which is beautiful. I couldn't find anything else in addition that would further hint and nudge to, you know, something else going on other than their extensive lore and tragic past. But of course, I could have missed something, of course. Let me know what you think and how you interpret the relationship. On a scale of 1 to 10, how tragic is this Yuri, okay? I'd give it a nice 16. But next up, we're going to be talking about Firefly. Highly requested. I can't wait to Sorry. So Firefly. I can't wait to, Okay. Oh my god. Can you please shut up? Bro, stop. You're interrupting my grind. Really? I'm interrupting your grind? That's so sad. What is the grind exactly? I'm updating my dissertation. You wouldn't know anything about the academia, okay? I didn't know you wrote like that. I didn't know you were literate enough to write like that. Well, I'll have you know that I am a highly published and respected academic in my field. Okay, I'll bite. What is your dissertation on? And how is this published exactly? Oh, I run a blog on Squarespace. Squarespace, yeah, I heard that they were like really cool. Yeah, honestly, it's like so easy. I craved to put my intellectual prowess onto the page, and well, Squarespace helped make that happen. They have a ton of beautiful pre-made websites that I was able to choose from that I then turned into the pillar of academia that it is now. They had blog-specific templates, but if you want other types of websites like for shopping or for your portfolio, then they also have that too. That's pretty cool. Yeah, no, for real. And I also have an analytics tab that helps me see just how many of my fellow Yuri and Yaoi-ologist peers in my field enjoy my content. And sometimes I need help on how to make the most out of this incredible research. So I just call up their support person who helps me maximize this website's slay. That poor soul. So if you want to try it out, go over to squarespace.com for a free trial. And then when you realize just how much you love it, go to squarespace.com/eissocial to get 10% off your very first purchase of a website or a domain. You'll be supporting the channel and also getting a really cool website. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Who are you talking to? God? Okay, well, I kind of want to see how this turns out, so keep up the grind. Will do. Okay, so Firefly. Okay, so this... joking. Spoilers, by the way, for Penacony 2.1 quest, but also girl, the official Honkai Star Rail account already released the big plot twist with Firefly as like a character. So like, but anyways, if you haven't seen the official tweet or you don't already know about the plot twist and you still want to like not know, then go to this timestamp right here. I'm giving you the option to not be spoiled. You will be missing the entire Firefly analysis, but here you go, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so continuing. Firefly is Sam, the Stellaron hunter. She is piloting the mecha and has killed a lot of people. I mean, period. I love how she's all cutesy and pretty and like, oh my god, trailblazer. But this is the first glimpse we ever saw of Sam. Like, honestly, okay? I love it when cute, pretty girls have hobbies that include mass murder, arson, and theft, among a ton of others, okay? I have seen some theories about some possible transcoding with her since Sam has been referred to as a man and she uses him to show a different part of her identity. So I can completely see how that can be interpreted to be a sort of transcoding. She has entropy loss syndrome, so her physical body is deteriorating. So it is interesting that she uses the Sam mecha and personality as a way to free her from her current form and express a side of her identity in a liberating way. Though I personally have a sort of different interpretation of her relationship with her identity as Sam, which will probably be in a separate video because it adds to the conversation that Penacony is providing to us some more, so you will have to stay tuned for that one. But there is a very queer interpretation to be had when it comes to her as a character, gender expression and question aside. The whole relationship with the Trailblazer felt very much like they really wanted us to ship the two of them or like super care about Firefly. Honestly, when she first got, I was like, aw.
Oh, she passed away? Oh. All right.
So maybe I'm a bitch, but Hoyo was going really hard on the suggestions. When we first meet Firefly, she is being chased by members of the Bloodhound family for being accused of being a stowaway, which she totally was. She then asks for our help, and one of the options is to say, I'll do my best to protect a pretty young lady, which is an option with both the male and female MCs, Kaitlys and Stelle, respectively. Hoyo does this a lot, I feel like, because in Genshin, we have a few bi-coded characters who simp so hard for the Traveler, regardless of the Traveler's gender, such as Kokomi, Ayaka, Xiao, and Lenny, with a few others, okay? Check out the first Genshin Impact queer coding video, icon here, for more, okay? I think it's super cute, and we can't make the claim that it's supposed to be straight because Hoyo sees Kaitlys as the canon MC, which is a claim people make often for Genshin because Aether's in all the promo art. This still doesn't cover Xiao and Lenny simping, but I digress. Kaitlys and Stelle seem to be favored equally in promotional materials for Honkai Star Rail, so we can't really use that excuse right now. Firefly and Trailblazer then start to hang out, which then slowly turns into a date of sorts as Firefly shows us around all giddily. She takes us to her special place that no one else goes to and opens up to us about her trauma. As the sun sets romantically and she states how she hopes time stops and she can share this dream with us forever. And then we take a quick cute little selfie with Robin's song If I Can Stop One Heart From Breaking playing over it. Watch the first HSR coding video for why lesbian is Robin coded. Wait, for why Robin is lesbian coded. Okay, so yes. Later, when she gets violently gutted before our eyes, she falls into our arms and she liquidates. Trailblazer is then traumatized beyond words because, yeah, they look like they have seen the horrors, which they have. Anyways, she isn't really dead, but we didn't fully know that at the time, so everyone around us, the Trailblazer, gives us their condolences since they knew we were so close. Earlier on, before all of this tragedy, when Acheron meets up with us with Firefly, first, the gay-ass woman hits on Firefly, calling her a beautiful lady, and Firefly gets all flustered at this. And that is so crazy. What the fuck are we talking about, okay? Also, secondly, back off, Firefly, okay? Know your place. Oh, what I would give. Oh, what I would give for Acheron to say that to me. Oh my god. Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh, right, okay, sorry. Later on, when we depart from the conversation, Acheron says, I wish you a great time in the dream, and I shall not interrupt your date? And Firefly gets all flustered and denies the date allegations. This dialogue is of course the same for both Stelle and Kaitlys, okay? Again, it's the curse of characters suddenly becoming bisexual upon meeting our protagonist. And honestly, Period. I love it. So that within itself is just very blatant, right? They want this relationship to be a cute, romantic, tragic type of relationship with how everything is set up and also how the other characters have been reacting to us together. The date thing by Acheron is pretty obvious, and so as well the whole date we were on. And since it's still held up with Stelle, this gets a certified queer-coded stamp of approval. Happy Pride Month, guys. But of course, as always, what doth thou thinketh of thy gaze? Oh, waiter, come back, please. I would love some devastating, gut-wrenching, rocking back and forth and crying myself to sleep type of Yuri, okay? And make it double. I will tip 20%. Okay, so Jinglu and Bai Heng, two members of the High Cloud Quintet, have a really tragic, hinted at relationship. God damn it! Why is all of the Yuri in this video so goddamn painful? I can't. I am not God's strongest soldier. I'm not. This is painful. So yes, I touched on the queer coding that is kind of being yelled at us between Blade and Dan Heng, or rather their former selves Yinqing and Dan Feng, two more members of the High Cloud Quintet. In the first HSR queer coding video, to refresh, the High Cloud Quintet was a group of 5 friends who were like the it team of the Luofu, with Jinglu, Jingyuan, Dan Feng, Bai Heng, and Yinqing all making up the quintet. Legends were spun of these 5, and honestly, Yinqing and Dan Feng had a little something happening. And also, Jingyuan and Dan Feng, what is up with this guy and his gay-ass harem? Apparently, there was gay fan fiction written by some of the locals about Jingyuan and Dan Feng, which is insane. That is in the game. Like, actually, writing intergalactic yaoi, those space fujoshi are tweaking. I might talk about them again in the future, but like, it is already insane that the game would even suggest a gay pairing between men, and that the locals saw yaoi potential within the two. And that sends me so hard. But this is not about the men, okay? This is about our tragic as Yuri, okay? So Jinglu and Bai Heng had some tragic Yuri that makes me so sad, and it made me so sad researching about it. Like, why can't women be happy? But anyways, the thing that set the group on the path to damnation was Bai Heng getting got, okay? Died horrendously. And naturally, the squad was pretty torn up about it. It is still widely speculated as to what happened next, but what has been insinuated across some readables in the Luofu is that Dan Feng and Yinqing tried to bring Bai Heng back to life, which, well, to put it mildly, didn't go too well. Yinqing was struck with Mara during the process and was forced into immortality, and a huge part dragonic monster was spawned, which is heavily speculated to be the result of the failed attempt of bringing Bai Heng back to life. More on why we think this later. This specific readable in Scale Gorge Waterscape, when interacting with an egg, hits you with a memory from a bystander that bore witness to that fateful day. Through this person's eyes, you witness the abomination in front of you, realizing you can't escape, and the air suddenly grows cold, with a woman landing on top of the dragon's head. This is Jinglu, with the description of the black cloth over her eyes and her ice powers. It's Jinglu, okay? She whispers a silent sorry before striking the abomination and freezing everyone in the vicinity. She is also apologizing to you in this moment, who is watching and who also gets frozen, and also she's saying it to the creature. Then the rest of the drama plays out from there. This scene hurts even more when you learn more about the relationship between Bai Heng and Jinglu. In Jinglu Story Quest 3, we learn about how Jinglu met each of the members of the quintet and also describes how their relationship was. It describes getting a sword from Yinqing, sparring with Dan Feng, and teaching Jingyuan. With Bai Heng's description of their friendship, it gives off the impression of a very close, emotional, intimate relationship. It describes Bai Heng, who was a nameless, who in her travels would bring back alcohol and drinks to Jinglu for them to drink and watch the stars together. Drinking under the stars seems to be a common pastime with these gay people, since Dan Feng and Yinqing did the same. So the quote, "I will cut down even the stars in the sky," from what I understand, is only ever mentioned while with Bai Heng, and will also be important later on. This quote is in the paragraph describing her relationship with Bai Heng, as if it is a sort of phrase they shared or an oath from Jinglu. Jinglu mentions how her traumatic past and memories that used to burn so horribly in Jinglu's mind would not seem as terrifying while with Bai Heng. The last line stating that these moments were what helped her understand what wanting to live actually means. Bai Heng brought such joy to her life that Jinglu could finally get why she would want to continue living, which is crazy, okay? That's literally me with Gildicarios. I have to stop. It's getting sad. In Jinglu's story, part 4, we get that tragic scene from her point of view. She hears the abomination yell out as if wishing for death. She sees Danfeng and Yinqing, who are both dealing with the aftermath of their own actions, and she states how she would kill them if it could fix everything. These were her best friends, and because of their actions, she was ready to kill them herself. The beginning passage said that she has killed many abominations before in her past, but she never expected she would have to kill her lifelong friend. As she is about to strike the abomination, she starts to see those traumatic memories from her youth again. She is terrified by them again. Before, Bai Heng's presence would soothe the memories, make them not hurt so much, but now they are overwhelming her. As she's about to kill the beast, she hears, "I will cut down even the stars in the sky." This phrase and the fact that the same memories that Bai Heng used to soothe come rushing back as she's about to kill the abomination, paired with why Yinqing and Danfeng would risk something so taboo, point to the realization that this abomination is the failed resurrection of Bai Heng. I personally think that Danfeng tried to mix Bai Heng's blood with some of his and his ancestors so that he could bring her back as part Vidyahara, which would help bring her back because they're like immortal technically, kind of. Also, the dragon is described as, well, a dragon with flowing fur, which could be the mix of the Vidyahara blood and Bai Heng's Foxian lineage. Jinglu had to not only have her friend, her dear friend, die once, but now she had to kill her and watch her die another time. And now, if you play as Jinglu, her phone case has a picture of a fox with a blue tassel hanging from its fur, sitting on a moon. The moon is a symbol for Jinglu, for her event banner was called Gentle Eclipse of the Moon. And well, in her trailer, she is literally sitting on the exact moon in the first 2 seconds of it, so that's Jinglu. Also, the fox is most definitely Bai Heng, with Bai Heng having the same tuft of white fur on her shoulders, with the blue tassel also hanging off of it, like how the fox has on the phone case. Additionally, during the cutscene where Blade and Jinglu are fighting and revealing more of their backstory to us, the players, Jinglu narrates and describes their past, how everything used to be so happy. Each member of the quintet is flashed in sepia tones as she talks, with Bai Heng showing up last, the only one in color. Their relationship is absolutely devastating, but the thing that I think kind of seals it with the hints and nudges that their relationship might have been, you know, something more than just best friends is just how stressed it was that they were the closest together out of everyone, and that to this day, Jinglu has a phone case with both of their symbols intertwined. The phone case is kind of wild to me because that is obviously Bai Heng and the moon is very obviously Jinglu, especially considering Hoyo's track record with other Honkai games. Hoyo loves their tragic Yuri, so I wouldn't be surprised if the intention behind these two was to be romantic, especially because of the fact that they describe the two of them and their relationship to be much more intimate than their relationships with the other members, and how this pairing, along with Yinqing and Danfeng, are hinted at, and they're both kind of drinking under the moon together in both of their respective love stories. It seems to be coding each other. Do you think that they were being purposely coded to be romantic? Do you think this is just another, oh, what good friends those two are? Oh, what good friends. Let me know in the comments. I will be reading. But moving on. Okay, Yaoi Nation, we got some yaoi hot and ready for you guys today, okay? I mentioned in the last video that we would have more of an in-depth dive into these two for the second video, which some of you got mad at me for. Girl, I said I was gonna talk about it. Relax. So, Rat Urine Nation, rejoice. Let's get into it. First off, let's talk about Aventurine, okay? Aventurine is a homosexual, okay? I don't want to hear it. You're gonna look at him and say he's straight? Girl. Okay, but also, when I say homosexual, I am joking a little bit, because for all of these characters, I use the word queer on purpose because I believe they fall under the queer umbrella, the specific identity of which I don't find to be as important and kind of losing the plot a little. So I believe he is of the queer flavor and loudly. So any other specific interpretation of his specific identity, who's to say? You know, who's to say? Or he's just a very enthusiastic ally. But of course, gay vibes will get us nowhere. So I want to point out a few things in his design that makes me think that Hoyo cooked him up with malicious queer intent, okay? For one, look at him. Kidding. Okay, no, but for real, his whole shtick is that he is a gambler. Like, we all know that. And he has found his success with taking risks at every turn. The gambling motif is present like all over his design, with even that black and red gambler wheel being on his back. I love him, love his design, but that wheel honestly kind of pisses me off a little bit. Like, okay, we get it, you gamble. Holy shit. Aside from that, bro has a killer design. I love it. The thing I want to pay close attention to is the use of peacock imagery. Okay, his coattails flow off into a peacock pattern, which is also present in his boss outfit, which is also so fruity as well, like body tea. Ratio also calls him a peacock when we see them together, and Sparkle later on calls him a peacock as well, which, hey guys, that's offensive? At least it used to be in my day. No, but seriously, when I was growing up, I was taught that the word peacock was a sort of derogatory slang for gay men, so that's crazy. But in the present day, I did the best sort of research as a certified academic can do. Don't at me, I'm joking, not certified, okay? I typed up, does peacock mean gay men? True hard-hitting journalism, everyone. Peacock has multiple meanings. You can use it as a name for someone who is vain and struts about gaudily. I mean, hey, if the shoe fits, right? Or as Urban Dictionary so elegantly puts it, a very flamboyant gay man. But of course, what the hell does Urban Dictionary know? The Manchester Museum's article on queering the museum states that in the late 19th and 20th century, peacock feathers were used to identify homosexual men to other homosexual men. In a painting by Edmund Dulac, he paints his two gay besties who were in a relationship together, who were called Charles Rissitz and Charles Shannon, and portrays the two men in a light-hearted manner as monks, with one man holding a peacock feather. Some say the peacock feather represents the two men's passions for aesthetics and artistry, and others say it is a subtle signifier for their homosexual relationship. So the word peacock, I feel, has a lot of meaning behind it, and the fact it is used in his two designs and was called a peacock a few times by other characters showcases Aventurine in already a very queer-coded way. I also find his past to be such a well-written story of tragedy and injustice and absolute horror that adds a lot to him as a character, and I personally find him to be one of the more intriguing characters in Honkai Star Rail. I love him. I personally do not find anything in his past that could be a metaphor for some sort of queer struggle, since his past already deals with very serious subject matter that should be given its due reverence and taken with the weight that it has already been presented to us with. On the topic of him and Dr. Ratio, we do have several pieces of compelling evidence that could point to a closer relationship between the two men. The first of which is Aventurine effectively calling Ratio handsome upon us first seeing them together. Dr. Ratio wears like a statue on his face because the hoes keep trying to distract him from that academic grind. He puts it on during his lectures so people stop simping for him, but the statue or bust is still good looking though, so maybe that's why bro isn't in the Genius Society. I mean, like, Aventurine in the scene notices that Ratio isn't wearing it when they meet up, and then he asks where the handsome bust of his went. Upon seeing Sunday, Aventurine calls Sunday the most handsome man in Pinnicani. Aventurine kind of makes me homophobic. But like in an endearing way. Their light cone together, or the yaoi cone, showcases how much of a gambler Aventurine is as he empties out all of the bullets in his gun except for one, puts his gun in Ratio's hand, and pulls the trigger against his own chest several times to showcase how good he is at gambling. The whole squad was weirded out. Was that really necessary? Like, and then when they animated it, oh my god! Not to get like graphic on main, but guys, why is Aventurine grasping the gun like that? Sorry, a lot of times in like storytelling, or even in our deep recesses of our psychology, supposedly, the gun, you know, can be used as a sort of phallic symbol. Take it up with Freud, okay? He was the one that put this out there first, okay? Don't look at me like that. Even though Freud cooked up this whole phallic symbol thing, he like took it back later. Bro, it's too late. Now people think cigarettes and guns are phallic. Man, fuck you. I hope it's just me that saw this weirdly homoerotic usage of a gun, which is already phallic in nature. I hate that word. And the way the camera zooms in on the gun, sorry. Didn't know we were running a whorehouse. And the way Aventurine looks up at Ratio with his eyes like that, ew, oh, it's so gross. Just stay away from my children, okay? Anyways, from there, the quest title that surrounds the two and their double agent planning against Sunday is called Double Indemnity, with the OST named Spellbound being awarded to the player upon completing the quest. Double Indemnity is a reference to the 1944 crime noir film of the same title, wherein a man falls in love with a married woman who wishes to murder her husband. The two work together to do just that, and they say romance is dead. People online have pointed to some similarities that the quest itself holds to the movie in which it shares the same name with. After all, Dr. Ratio and Aventurine are planning together on fooling Sunday, and in this interpretation, Ratio and Aventurine would then fill the shoes of the married woman and the man she's having an affair with. Or it could be interpreted as Ratio and Sunday as being the conspirators and thus the romantic couple stand-in, since we as the audience only realize that Ratio and Aventurine were actually the ones conspiring the whole time together, and Ratio's supposed betrayal was just for show for Sunday. Either way, it pairs the trio in some weird romantic love triangle when comparing the quest to the movie, and can be seen as a sort of like hint hint nudge nudge at something going on with a pair out of the trio. It is a semi-odd choice to reference this movie in particular, since it sort of lines up to the actions in the quest, but like there are tons of other noir movies that fit in with the betrayal, backstabbing kind of messaging and theme, so it is odd that they chose to reference a movie that would include romance and like adultery and murder. I get, of course, why they chose a noir for this, since Penacony has some noir flair to its overall theme, but betrayal and a noir flick? I literally looked up noir films that contain betrayal and got a list that has 60 examples of noir flicks that have plots including betrayal or using the act of duping. So why use Double Indemnity? Spellbound, which is the soundtrack you get from this specific quest, is also sus because it's the name of yet another film noir from 1945. This one tells the tale of a psychoanalyst named Dr. Constance, who falls in love with the new director of her hospital that she works at, named Dr. Anthony Edwardes. She soon realizes that this dude is like a fraud, and he admits it and says he has amnesia of his past life, and he's scared that he may have killed the real Dr. Edwardes. She helps him process everything using psychoanalysis to analyze his dreams, where in one dream he is in a casino. Aventurine, anyone? And then yada yada yada, he didn't actually kill the guy, someone else did, and they catch the real guy, and then the two of them get married. Honestly, banger plotline, okay? I want to watch both of these flicks. They are drama. I want to watch them. You receive a soundtrack called Spellbound, which references a noir film where a doctor falls in love with her patient, whose dream, where he was in a casino for, sort of helped them crack the case. That isn't Ratio and Aventurine, you know? Okay. And then the official English Honkai Star Rail TikTok account reposted a fan ship edit of the two guys, which is so funny. Definitely and obviously a ship edit because it says them greater than sign in the beginning. I guess if you squint, you could make the claim that the official Honkai Star Rail account thought the original edit was like, oh wow, look at these two pals. But I don't know, with Hoyoverse's track record, I'd like to think that whoever runs his account win. What if I just reposted Yaoi on the TL? Anyways, that's just weird, okay? Before doing all of this research, I was kind of like, I don't know, Chief. I think maybe we are a bit too yaoi pilled, and I don't think this is being implied on purpose. After the research into the 2 noir films and analyzing the official light cone animation, yeah, I think they're snorting that yaoi powder over at Hoyo HQ. Like, we kind of already knew that though. But of course, as always, what do you think? Let me know. And with that, my friends, the second Honkai Star Rail queer coding video is now completed. I am sure there is more, and I am sure there will be more stuff like this in the future in Honkai Star Rail. So subscribe to make sure you never miss out on that good, yummy content. Also, every single like on this video means one more tragic Yuri story that I will cry myself to sleep over. Watch the other queer coding videos as well as the other fandom discourse videos I have made. Join us over on twitch.tv/eissocial, where I will be crying over more Yuri and yaoi, but like in real time, and that is a guarantee. So of course, thank you so much to Alien Eyes, Jonah, Luel, Kaya, You and Drill, Joanne, Aike, and Moon for your support and becoming members over on the Coffee. Join the Coffee at this link right here so you can get a shout out at the end of every single video. Plus, you get to watch videos a few days early than everybody else here on YouTube. Follow my socials if you wish to, and if I do not see you on Twitch, then of course I shall see you in the next one. Bye!